You are currently bleeding authority every time you open your mouth to explain yourself to people who aren't even listening. You think that by talking more, you are making yourself understood, but all you are doing is showing the world exactly where your insecurities are hidden. You feel a desperate, nagging itch to fill the silence because silence feels like a void you can't control. But the truth is that your words are the most expensive currency you own, and you are currently spending them like they have no value. Most people spend their lives as emotional puppets, pulled by the strings of their own impulses, blurting out every thought and every reaction before they've even had a chance to process them. You are handing the keys to your internal state to anyone who can provoke a response out of you. This is the psychological trap of the modern world. We have been conditioned to believe that transparency is a virtue and that being vocal is a sign of strength. But in the world of power and self-mastery, noise is a sign of weakness. Every time you explain your plans to someone who hasn't earned that information, you are leaking the energy you need to actually execute them. Every time you react with an angry word to a petty insult, you are signaling that your peace is for sale. You are suffering in your imagination because you are convinced that you need to set the record straight with people who are committed to misunderstanding you anyway. Think about the factual reality. A word was spoken to you. That is the entire event. The rest of the drama is a narrative you are constructing to justify your own lack of discipline. Marcus Aurelius sat at the center of an empire filled with gossip, backstabbing, and political noise. He understood that the tongue is a wild animal that must be caged by reason. He wrote that it is in your power to withdraw into yourself whenever you desire. He wasn't just talking about physical isolation. He was talking about the silence of the mind. He realized that the person who can control their speech is the person who can control their destiny. If you cannot keep a thought to yourself, you cannot keep a secret, and if you cannot keep a secret, you cannot build anything of lasting value. Marcus knew that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it. And your words are the primary way you confirm that estimate to yourself and the world. As the stakes get higher, you realize that an unmanaged tongue is a liability. It is a trail of breadcrumbs for your enemies and a source of regret for your friends. You are trading your long-term respect for a 3-second hit of satisfaction from a witty comeback or a loud opinion. This is a bad trade. The person who stays silent is the person who creates an information gap. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to reveal their own cards while you keep yours hidden. While everyone else is busy trying to prove how smart or how right they are, the person of character is observing, calculating, and acting with precision. They are the ones who make the impact while everyone else is just making noise. Think about the focus you would have if you stopped showing up to every verbal argument you are invited to. Imagine the clarity that arrives when you realize that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth, your choices, or your silence. You do not need to be understood by the gallery to be a person of value. In fact, the more you master your own speech, the more weight your words will carry when you actually decide to use them. Real freedom is being unshaken by the urge to speak. It is knowing that the world can throw whatever chaos it wants at you, but it cannot force a word out of your mouth unless you give it permission. You are the only person who has to live with the consequences of what you say for the rest of your life. This is the shift from being a reactor to being a ruler. When you feel that heat in your chest and the urge to defend your name or attack someone else's, you have to pause. You have to look at the impulse and ask if it serves your virtue or just your ego. If it doesn't build your character, you must discard it. Their words are their burden. Their mistakes are their path. Your job is to maintain the integrity of your own inner fortress. At first, staying silent will feel like you are losing. Your ego will scream at you that you are being a coward. But every time you choose silence over a reaction, you are strengthening the walls of your inner citadel. You are proving to yourself that your mind is no longer for sale. The real flex is not in having the last word. It is in having the final say over your own impulses. Once you realize that your silence is a boundary that no one can cross without your consent, the weight in your chest begins to disappear. You stop looking for validation through conversation and you start creating the conditions for success through action. You do not need to be understood by the world to be powerful. In fact, the less they know about what you're thinking, the more powerful you become. Real power is being the eye of the storm. It is the ability to look at the noise and say nothing at all. The moment you start treating your words like gold is the moment you finally start mastering your life. You are no longer a puppet. You are the author of your silence. If this gave you the strength to stay quiet today, it is because you are ready to protect the version of yourself you just discovered. This isn't just about a video. It is about a commitment to your own mental independence. If you want to stay grounded in this truth and keep building a mind that nothing can break, then walk this path with us. By staying connected, you are signaling to yourself that your peace is sacred and that you are done letting the world decide when you speak. You are stronger than your impulses.